Hi netizens, it's Math Magics. I have differentiation by quotient rule. You understand this to be calculus. Now, if you talk about quotient rule, first of all, quotient simply means result of division. Yes, when numbers are divided, the result you get becomes the word quotient. Let's take for instance, you have 6 then divided by 2. Of course, 6 divided by 2 is what? 3. So 3 is the quotient of 6 divided by 2. So it's not far away from what is given. You can see your numerator, you can see your what? Denominator. You can see your numerator, you can see your denominator. So this becomes our dividend. The number that will be divided becomes the dividend. Then the number that divides becomes the what? Divisor. So this is the divisor and the result becomes the quotient. So the approach is not far away from what is given here. Now let's jump right into it. We have to differentiate this with respect to x. The very first thing you need to do is to recall the quotient rule. And this is what we have as the quotient rule in differentiation. In quotient rule, we can say dy over dx will be equal to v du over dx, then minus u dv over dx all over v squared. So this is the quotient rule in differentiation. So this will help us get the solution of this question. Moving forward, I will have to assign the parameters to the right function. And that will be achieved by saying let u be equal to the numerator, which is the dividend, 2x. Then we have to differentiate u with respect to x. That becomes du over dx. At this point, if you have to differentiate these 2x, you get what? 2. How did we achieve that? Remember that there is an invisible power here, which is 1. Right? If you take 1 and multiply by 2, then you subtract 1 from this one, you are getting what? X raised to power 0. So, of course, any value raised to power 0 is what? 1. So, 2 times 1 remains 2. The next will be v, which is this. So v will be equal to the divisor, which is the denominator. And what we have, v becomes x squared plus this 1. Then moving forward, we differentiate v with respect to x. This becomes dv over dx. Differentiate x squared, you get what? 2x. Like I explained, this 2 comes here to multiply the x. Then you take 1 away from 2. You are getting x raised to power 1. Of course, we let it remain invisible. Then when you differentiate a constant, you get what? 0. So differentiate 1, the value is what? 0. 2x plus 0 is still what? 2x. Here you can agree with me that all parameters have been assigned to the right function. It is time to substitute into the formula. Dy over dx will be equal to, what is the value of v? Of course, v is what? X squared plus 1. What is the value of du over dx? Du over dx is what? 2. What is the value of u? U is what? 2x. The value of dv over dx, which is 2x. Every parameter has been assigned. The next thing we need to do is to apply them as instructed. V du over dx means v, which is x squared plus 1 times 2. 2 times x squared plus 1. X squared plus 1 times 2, it is what? Commutative. So there's no problem. This becomes 2 into brackets, which is du over dx, then v, x squared plus 1, then minus. The value of u is what? 2x. You have 2x into, what is the value of the v dx? The v dx is what? 2x, close bracket, all over v squared. What is the value of v? V is what? X squared plus 1. So v squared becomes x squared plus 1 raised to power 2. X squared plus 1 raised to power 2. We have substituted according to the rule. The next is to simplify. 2 times x squared is what? 2x squared. 2 times 1, we have 2. Minus 2x times 2x is what? Minus 4x squared. Over x squared plus 1 raised to power 2. We have to collect like terms. 2x squared minus 4x squared, we get minus 2x squared. Minus 2x squared, then plus 2 over x squared plus 1 raised to power 2. X squared plus 1 all raised to power 2. Can we simplify further? Yes, 2 is what? Common. If 2 is common, then I have to factorize. Let me start with this. If I rearrange this, of course, we are having 2 into 2 divided by 2 will give us what? 1. 2 divided by minus 2x squared, you get what? Minus x squared over the value you have here, which is x squared plus 1 all raised to power 2. Is there any other thing to factorize? No. Ladies and gentlemen, now when 2x over x squared plus 1 is differentiated with respect to x, this is what we get. Kindly like, comment, and share. Bye-bye.